I'm Vikas Khurana, and today we have very special guest, Mr. Krishna S, who is life and leadership coach based on mindfulness with close to 2 decades of experience in learning and development. He has designed and delivered numerous talk shows, L&D programs, and workshops. Academically, he is MSc in Psychology, MA Yoga, MBA, MCA, PGDEA. And he's also a founder at Ask Krishna Center of Mindfulness. So, welcome to RCC, Mr. Krishna. So, please take us through your uh, journey into this field of health and fitness, mindfulness,
Uh,
I would say.
Thank you, Vikash. Glad to be here. And good morning, good afternoon to all of you here. So, I started my journey into mindfulness in the year 1999. So it's almost 23 plus 24 years, a quarter century.
Correct.
And it started in a very, I would say, not in a very focused or very planned or strategic way. It happened, all happened, it evolved through the ages. I saw myself around people. I finished my PG in a regular college, MCA, Masters of Computer Application, took up a job in a MNC, and I was about to leave to Swiss Bank for a project, Switzerland, Swiss Bank project. But I also found out as the days went by, just few months, that 9 to 5 job is not for me, and I was very certain that I will lose my life if I'm going to embrace that. Though I did quite well, I had my distinction gold medal in my project in MCA and so on and so forth. Academically, programming wise, I was quite strong. But what I saw was that it would rob my life, so hijack my life. So, and when I saw people around myself, I realized that people, though they were all the time running behind something material or spiritual or relationship or whatever it might be, ultimately what eluded them was happiness. So they were projecting themselves into the future. They were trying to get something. They were trying to seek something, seek comfort, seek security, right? Seek pleasure, seek wealth, name, fame. But once they attain it, where they're satisfied, where they're happy, something bigger, something more, something better always was there for them to conquer something. So that was a never-ending journey. And in this race, I saw people forgetting to live. So when I started out, the term mindfulness was not popular or not even quite around. But what I realized was life is not about running behind or acquiring or becoming something, but it is to live this very moment if at all it is possible. That is how it started, and I think it has kept me in good stead.
A great one. So, now starting with this mindfulness, what exactly is the meaning of this word mindfulness?
See, mindfulness, I would say there are many definitions, technical definitions. Probably certain books are there, certain, uh, if you search the Google or on the internet, you might get certain definitions. So those definitions point out to an ability to live in the present and now. I will not even put it as a ability, because ability means then you have to practice, you can sharpen it. But to me, what I have understood, it is a state of being, right? See, when we call ourselves as human being, the word human being, not human becoming, right? No living being. Living means being in the present. That is why we are called human being in the present and now, right? It
Correct.
is not an ability, but it is a state of living. And it is the only state of living that is ever possible to live in the present and now. If you are saying that I want to become somebody, right now I'm a greedy person, I want to become a contented person. Right now, I'm a fearful person, I want to become a courageous person. Becoming means betraying the present. Becoming means forgetting the present, right? So
Correct.
you are always projecting yourself into the future based on your past. In that projection, you lose the present, which is the being. So mindfulness is a state of being in the present and now, without without judging it, analyzing it, without wanting to change it, but a pure state of being where you understand yourself completely and thoroughly as you are, what you are at that moment.
Right. So, but sir, like human mind is like we keep on thinking something. So even if like if we are talking to someone, normally we keep on thinking what happened in our past or plan for future. So how do we control this thinking part? And because thoughts keep on coming into your minds, so how do we control that?
See, we take it for granted that there should be something to control. See, now if you start controlling the current state of the mind chattering, the monkey mind, you want to control it and make it okay in the future. When
Correct.
you are you are postponing living. You understand, you are not living in the present. You want to have a better mind, a good mind, a complete mind, a sane mind, a calm mind, a beautiful mind in the future. But right now you have something, right? Why can't I start observing? There's a state called observation, which is not related to thinking at all. One can observe one own's thinking. One can observe one own's thinking, right? One cannot think all the time, right? You can keep on thinking, but one can observe. Right now, I'm thinking, I'm talking to you, probably I'm thinking about my future, I am thinking about my girlfriend, I am thinking about Deepika Padugon and all the rest of it. But as I'm thinking, is it possible for me to be aware, to observe that I'm thinking, not just be carried away by it and say that that is the way of living, that is the way of mind? But there is a totally different state called observation. Just to look at things inwardly as well as outwardly. Whatever's happening outside or whatever's happening inside. Inside as thoughts, inside as thinking, right? Inside as the working of the mind, can one observe what is happening rather than act upon it blindly.
Right. And sir, about if I talk about the emotions, this thinking, thoughts, fear, and mindfulness, what exactly is the connection between all these?
See, emotions, if you understand what are emotions, some incident happens, right? Suppose you call me a fool, or you use a very terrible critical language to point out at me. At that very moment of that event happening, that you calling me an idiot or a fool, right? In that very moment, when I'm listening to what you are saying, when you are calling me a fool, and when I'm listening to it, there are no emotions. I'm just in that state. Now, once you call me a fool or idiot or stupid man or useless man, your words get impressed on my brain, on my memory. After that event, after that event, I recollect it as memory, feel depressed, sad, or angry about it. Post that event, based on my memory, at the very moment of what is happening, that the very moment that you're calling me a fool or using some critical language, there are no emotions. I just listen to it. There may be a state of
Correct.
shock, or there may be a state of numbness, or whatever it is, or a complete state of quietness. But post that incident, your words have got impressed on my memory, right? Then I sit back. Whenever recollect about going for an online show, will I meet a person like Vikas, I feel, how dare he calls me an idiot, or I feel helpless, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel depressed, I feel ashamed. So every emotion is always ruminating about the past. If you see every emotion, right, except uninvited joy, Uninvited joy is always the present and the now. But every other emotion, if you see, at that very moment of that incident, how much ever pleasurable or painful it is, at that moment there is no reaction at all. But post that event, I ruminate, I recollect from my memory, I think pleasurable about it, I want to continue it, or I want to avoid it because it is painful to me. Therefore, recollection from memory, thinking about it, ruminating about it, feeling pleasurable or painful is not about the present and now. Please try to understand. At that very moment of that incident, one has no reactions at all. How much ever small it may be, there's a gap between that reaction and that event. That event is present and now. If you are aware of it, what is hurting oneself, what we call as emotions as anger or sadness or whatever it is, right? Worry or at that very moment, I'm not concerned about it. Post that event at different point of time, I sit and think about the past. I don't want it to repeat in the future, or I think sit and think about the past. I want the future to repeat the same pleasure. Therefore, emotions, in a way, if you are not aware, if one is not aware, emotions ensures that we lose our present. Emotions ensure that we lose our state of being, living. And thought is the vehicle that produces those emotions from memory. But if one is aware, one is observant, one is cleanly observant, then you understand what is hurting me is not what Vikas has told me, but what it has impressed on my memory. From there, I take it, ruminate, come back and keep on worrying, suffering, right? And I never forget it, depending on the intensity. When I say I never forget it, it means what? My memory is getting reinforced. Vikas has called me a fool and he has taken care of his life. But I keep on ruminating. But if one is mindful that thought is creating these emotions constantly into the future, thinking about the past, reactions from the memory through various stimulants, then it starts to weaken. There's no reinforcement to that thought or emotion. It starts to weaken. And in that, as it weakens, it starts dying. Then I'm free of that incident, I'm free of that emotion, and I am in a state of awareness.
Sir, how do we start it? Because like you gave an example, when somebody says us something and we keep on thinking about that thing. So it is normal human tendency that we used to think that whatever somebody says about us, we think about that, we get emotions related to that. So how do we start it that we should not think about those things and stay in present
No,
and we can avoid?
you cannot stop thinking, but as I've already pointed out, can you be aware of it? When that thought comes, when that emotion comes, don't indulge in it, don't give in to it, just don't force it to stop it or control it. Don't do anything, but can you be observant? Suppose there is a bird flying in front of you. Suppose there's a bird flying very high in front of you. Let us say an eagle or a kite or a falcon is flying very high in front of you, right? How you cannot do anything about it, right? Other than just observing it. In the same state, if you can consider your thought as that eagle flying very high, you cannot do anything about it. You have tried every circus, but it has failed. If you understand, if you have really gone into it, so the only way is, can you observe it? Can you observe that the thought is bringing that reaction back, memory back? You're reacting, you're feeling sad. Now, Vikas is not at all in the picture. Vikas is gone. He has called me a fool and he's happily gone to a film, right? He's watching a movie. But I am sitting and ruminating. I'm thinking about it. Now, don't try to stop it. Don't try to escape from it. Don't try to forget it. Don't start reading a book. Don't start chanting a mantra, or don't go into some, having a drink or a food or something. But as it is happening inside your brain, inside your head, is it possible to observe that whole network of thoughts, quietly observe it without wanting to judge it or change it or analyze it, or nothing of that sort, condemning it or accepting it, rejecting? Just observe as it rises and the network of thought flows. As the eagle is flying, you cannot do anything about it. You can just watch it, you can just observe it. In that watchfulness, in that observation, you can see there's a tremendous energy that dissolves what you are observing.
Correct. So, sir, is it somewhat similar to meditation? Because in meditation, we also, when we start meditation, we just keep still and we can focus on our breath, and then whatever thoughts come, we don't do anything. Just like you just said, we have to be observant. So, is mindfulness somewhat similar to meditation, or is there any difference?
So, what is meditation? According to you, what is meditation?
So, it's like state of calm, not thinking anything, and to be more focused. If I have to sit, suppose I am at a beginner stage, so I just
No,
concentrate
no,
on my breathing.
let us leave out the beginners,
Mhm.
intermediate, expert, all this, let us set aside, right? Let us keep things very simple. What is meditation according to you?
So I would say being in present state, not thinking about anything.
So, being in the present state, then do we have a technique or system or a method for meditation? Is there any meditation? Is there any technique or system or a method to follow to attain that state?
So normally, what I do is I just focus on my breathing, so that I there are many thoughts keep on coming. What happened in past days, or maybe
So,
what I'm
that
planning.
you are implying there's a technique.
So I
Watching the breath is a technique.
so yes, so that can be one. Yes. So I
Yes.
follow that strategy.
Okay. So, you are following something, right?
Yes.
Now, the original meaning of meditation, dhyana, the original meaning of meditation implies a state of no thoughts, thoughtless states. If you understand, there is a thoughtless state, there is no thought at all. That is real meditation. Right now, if you are using a technique, if you are using a technique, if you are using a system, if you are using a method, if you are using a strategy, how do you use it without thinking and thought?
Right. Correct.
The very usage of a technique or strategy or a method or system implies that
We are thinking.
thinking, thought is in action.
Yes.
So the very commencement, initiation of meditation defeats the meaning of meditation.
Correct.
So people are very glued to meditation time. I sit in a corner, light some candles, put some natural essence oil, put a serene place, sit in the corner of a place, close my eyes, concentrate on my breath, concentrate on my thoughts and all those things. And after that 30 minutes, I come back to a very stressful life. I
Correct.
come back to a very life which is very high pressure and tension, and I lose myself. Then I go back next day, sit in the same corner, and start. You understand the circus,
Yeah. Got it.
right? Now, the problem is we are tuned to meditation time. We are not aware of meditative life. Now, if I am aware from moment to moment, what is happening, the way I'm thinking, the way probably you understand. If I go to a building, how do I talk to the security man standing outside? Is the owner there? Is the owner there? But once I go inside the building, I see the chairman. Sir, how are you, sir?
Hmm. Correct.
Now, I respect a person based on human, because both are human beings. No, I respect a person based on functional usage in the society. The security man has a less function, the chairman or the owner has a higher function. So based
Correct.
on the function, I respect that person more. Am I a human being? Can I be aware of this? Am I even aware of it? So to me, I may not fit into a popular theory or a popular definition. To me, if you are caught up in meditation time, the rest of the 20 hours you are living a very dreadful life. But if you start exploring meditative life, then take it from me that you need not have some 1 hour segregated for meditation time. So, my understanding, my approach is it possible to explore a meditative life rather than to say 1 hour I am focusing on my breath, remaining 23 hours I forget my breath. I forget that I'm living. I'm dragged into this world, into this rat race. I forget myself completely. I forget everything. 1 hour I'm focused on the breath, half an hour, 30 minutes or 60 minutes. I'm calm, I'm quiet. After that, I come back to this nonsense, right? To this rat race. So, what meaning does it have in your life? Half an hour or 1 hour of calmness, and the rest 23 hours. Even in sleep, I get nightmares. Even in sleep, I get agitated. I'm not able to sleep properly. So, the rest of the 23 hours, I'm boiling. 1 hour, I want to calm myself. But if I'm able to be aware, observe, right? Be mindful about what is happening within me and outside me, the way I show my gestures in day-to-day life, in simple way of living, the way I talk to my spouse, the way I talk to my girlfriend or boyfriend, the way I approach my child or children or my colleagues, the way I talk to the security and the way I talk to the chairman. All these things reveal something about me, reveal
Correct.
something very intense about me. So if I'm mindful, I start learning about myself. In that, there's a meditative life. There's no question of 1 hour of sanity and 23 hours of insanity. Here, my whole life is then a breeze, a state of being where I start learning moment by moment what I am. So that is a very different ballgame.
So, how do you suggest that we start this process of being mindfulness? Because uh, suddenly, if, like we have been living a life for like past 25, 30 years, and suddenly we have to change something. So, how do we start that process?
First you understand that whatever one is doing right now, whatever one is doing has not helped you in any way. If one is honest with oneself, that 1 hour, half an hour meditation time, gym, right, all these things have never helped humanity. You see the number of people getting into mental sickness, mental distress, mental disorders, stress, right? The number of lifestyle diseases, cardiovascular diseases, lifestyle diseases, blood pressure, diabetes, the number of people who are living in heavy stress, number of people who are having neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's or dementia, the number of children who are going through suicidal tendencies, the number of suicides that are increasing day by day, the number of violence that is increasing day by day. Recently, a 6-year-old child in the United States, a 6-year-old child has taken a gun and shot his teacher. Where are we heading? And please do not say it is in the US, it's not in India, it is not in Mumbai or Pune, or it is not anywhere else. That life will come here very soon. It is happening now. If you understand the current way of life and living is not the right way, it is causing more trouble than the solution, right? Then I start slowing down. I start becoming more observant. I start becoming more sensitive, right? Is it possible, right? So the can I be aware of myself in my day-to-day living, not living in a monastery or not sitting under a banyan tree or not reciting some Om mantra, all the rest of it I leave it. I'm talking to my friend. I'm talking to my spouse. I'm talking to my peer. I'm talking to my subordinate. I'm talking to my superior. I'm talking to a rickshawala. I'm talking to a taxiwala. I'm talking to the Swiggy delivery guy. I'm talking to the Zomato delivery guy. How am I talking? Am I aware of it? The way I'm showing gestures to them, the way I'm irritated, can I be aware of all those things? So mindfulness, meditation, awareness is part of simple day-to-day life and living, not to be classified, separated, segregated, and put it into a slot like, morning 1 hour I'll do gym exercise, evening 1 hour I'll jog. That is not about meditation and mindfulness. It is making your day to day life and living, moment through moment, moment from moment, moment to moment, more meaningful, making your existence more understanding. right? So the only way to me is, I don't want to change or do anything. Is it possible for me to observe as I live in my day-to-day relationship? I have a relationship with the world, right? I have a relationship with God. I have a relationship with money. I have a relationship with nature, or I do not have at all. Why I don't have? The way I'm talking to my parents, the way I'm talking to my spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, right? The way I'm talking to a child or to my child. So every small word or big word or a small or big gesture reveals something about me. So is it possible to bring these terms, which it seems alien, which seems technical, that is to bring mindfulness, meditation, awareness in day-to-day living, not as a separate meditation time? Is it possible?
Okay, sir. And talking about the organization, so how can Ask Krishna help us in achieving that goal?
See, here we at Ask Krishna are very clear about one thing, right? We make this as a continuous life process, not as a one time short term. You pay something, you come sit with us or attend an online session and then forget about all these things. And the next fad or next thing, the next motivational talk, the next book, it is not about that. For us, it is a very serious commitment to understand life, not change life, but to understand life. In that understanding, that it might bring its own changes, that is different. So is it possible now, if somebody comes to us seeking a solution, right? We are not here to give advice, right? Each one has their own life to live. So we are not here
Right.
to provide some standard out of the shelves, over the counter solution. This is how you should live. We are not here to sit on judgment. Each one has their own challenge. Each one has their own wishes, desires, and whatnot, fears and depression and anxiety and success and failures. So we are here to stand as a mirror, right? Reflecting, providing them a clear reflection about themselves, so that that reflection helps them to understand themselves more clearly, deeply, right? Rather than we giving out some solutions, we stand as a beautiful, non-judgmental, non-threatening, open, clear Belgium glass mirror, right? High quality precision mirror, so that if you stand in front of you, it reflects your internal structure, mechanism, working, and nature, your psychological being. From there, you start to learn, understand, see yourself with utmost clarity. In that clarity, you will know as an individual what and what not to do, how to conduct your life, and how to live your life in freedom. Not according to what Krishna says, or as Krishna says, or some book says, or some authority says. We are not an authority figure. We are not here to say we have solutions for all problems in life. We never provide a single solution other than being a mirror where you can reflect yourself. Through that, we spend enormous resources, time, intensity with individuals and groups, corporate, schools, institutions, and individuals personally as close user group, so that we start exploring, dialoguing, thinking together, exploring together to understand the complete wholeness of human life, human mind, and behavior.
Correct. So what for our viewers, what we will do is we will provide you links and ways to contact you in a description, so that in case somebody wants to contact you, they can contact you, and they can also contact you through Yuvaap. So we can have a joint session with some of the viewers. That can be done. So coming back to the topic, sir. So I was thinking about knowledge and intelligence. So what exactly is the difference between knowledge and intelligence?
Knowledge, if you understand what you know becomes knowledge. The word knowledge starts with knowing. What you do not know is not knowledge. So, what you know is knowledge. People worship, adulate knowledge, but one has to understand what one knows, what you know, is already known in the past. For technical, mechanical, technological, material sciences like medicine or biology or mathematics or technology, automobile, space, this knowledge plays a vital, important role. Knowing is solving problems. I know the entire working of a rocket or an automobile. I can repair it, I can solve it, I can rebuild it, I can innovate on it. Right? Knowledge in physical domain of mathematics, technological, technical, medical, right? Science is very, very important. Please try to understand. Right? So knowledge means what already you know. What already you know means it is in the past. What already you hold is in the past. So knowledge means past. That is very, very important, critical in physical sciences like mathematics, like technology, like computers, like automobile, like any medicine or any other, sciences, physical sciences, economics, math. 1 plus 1 is 2, that you have to know how to switch on a gas or off a gas, how to drive a car, how to repair a car, right? All these things belongs to the physical part, the physical knowledge. So knowing there is very important. But in human relationship, when I say I know Vikas, right? When I say I know Vikas, it means I know Vikas for what he was. The knowledge about Vikas prevents me from knowing about Vikas for what he is today, what he is now.
Correct.
So, in the psychological realm, the psychological domain of life and living and in relationships, knowledge is a curse. When I say I know my wife, or when I say I know my child, when I say I know my God, for example, what does it mean? I know something about them from the past. Do you mean to say I stay like that? What the Vikas I met 10 days back is the same Vikas today? Is psychologically is he the same?
Yes, correct. But probably no.
Something has changed. But when I say, oh, Vikas, I know him well, psychologically, if I approach Vikas through knowledge, then that prevents me, stops me from understanding, learning, knowing about Vikas for what he is today. Then I feel, 10 days back, Vikas was very good. He talked in such a way. But today, he betrayed me. He cheated me. Why I couldn't feel, I couldn't find out Vikas is cheating me today. Why?
Knowledge,
Because
the past.
my knowledge prevented me from seeing what Vikas is today. I trusted my husband. He cheated on me. I trusted my wife. He cheated on me. I trusted the past. I know what my child wants. Every day your child is growing, changing. How do you know what he wants? Why can't we ask, Kanna, what do you want? What do you think about it? What do you want to do in the future? Right? So knowledge in physical sciences is utmost critical. But knowledge in relationship is a curse. It prevents from having good, meaningful relationship. If your relationship is based on past experiences, past knowledge, past memory, then you are not living in the present. Understanding this is intelligence. Knowing where to use physical knowledge and knowing never to use psychological knowledge is intelligence. Intelligence is not gathering and it's not out of memory. It activates and presents itself in the present and now. Right? Knowledge, you have to go through years of training to acquire an expert tag in a subject. Intelligence does not depend on any capacity. Even a very young child, a person who is not exposed to any collegiate education or anything, has intelligence within him, that beauty within him or her. right? So knowledge is accumulative nature. Yesterday I learned 5 alphabets, today another 5. It accumulates,
Correct.
right? But intelligence is not accumulative nature. It acts and dies in the present and now. You cannot say I was intelligent.
Correct.
The question is, are you intelligent right now? That's the question. So intelligent is a factor of present and now, right? Knowledge is always about the past. Knowledge is very critical, essential in physical sciences. But where to use knowledge and where not to use knowledge is a domain of
Is
intelligence.
intelligence.
Intelligence is action. Knowledge need not be action, right? Action based on psychological knowledge creates differences, because I based my action based on the past knowledge, I lose the present in relationship. So if one is able to understand and distinguish between physical knowledge and psychological knowledge, where to use this and where not to use this, that is intelligence.
Correct. So in this like discussion on knowledge and intelligence, you came up with something about relationships. So how important mindfulness is for relationship? Because we have seen many people that they keep on coming that we get hurt in our relationship. So how important is mindfulness for a relationship?
Sir, how do you define life? What is the definition of life you can give?
So so we should be like if I stay healthy and good relationships, financial freedom, and being mindfulness. I mean, staying with ourselves, staying happy. There should be no stress and happy family.
Now, whatever have you said, have you ever come across with anybody?
And so it's like they have to maintain. We have to maintain a balance between all things. But yes,
No, is
uh,
it possible? Is it widely available in the society today? No.
no,
We have tormented relationship. Either we have lot of money, less health, right? We have lot
correct,
of time, no people to share with,
correct,
right? Probably we have lot of wealth, we have lot of people to share with, but no health and energy to do it,
correct,
right? So this is how we are living. So how does one define life? If you understand, if one goes into this question very quite seriously, quite intelligently, life is a series of relationships. Life is a series of relationships. When you were very young, what was your relationship with your mother? One that probably of lot of security.
correct,
She should always be around. She should take care of you. The moment she goes out for shopping or something, you become little agitated, panic, frightened. But at the age of 30 or 40, mother being at home is a problem. Sending away the mother is the first goal. Why can't you go and live in my brother's house or sister's house? Why can't you go to US? Why can't you go for
correct,
some pilgrimage? I want to chase my mother. When I am 20, I'm so keen to do everything to have a relationship with my loved one, probably a boy or girl. But when I'm 40, that boy or girl becomes so stale, becomes a burden. I want to get rid of that person through a divorce, or I will go and settle here, you stay here.
correct,
10 year from the birth to 10 years, my child is so important. When the child attains teenage, the parents talk about my child is a teenager. It becomes a burden. Till 30, probably I'm running for some name, recognition, money, wealth, and so on and so forth. When 60, when I have it, I talk about diabetes, cardiologic problem. So I'm using that money to stay healthy, fit. So you understand there's a lot of messed up, lot of imbalance in this relationship. So life is a serious relationship. When I use the word relationship, It is not necessarily between a man to woman or between humans to humans alone. What is my relationship with health? What is my relationship with nature? What is my relationship with wealth, my work, my family? What is my relationship? If my relationship is based on past knowledge, if my relationship is based on past tradition, probably that tradition was good enough for those times. Since I am born into a particular color, particular identity, particular label, and I want to continue the tradition. You understand? Tradition is a very beautiful word in a lot of places. But if you understand the etymological meaning of the word tradition, that is the root meaning. Etymological meaning means the root meaning. Where did this word tradition originate from? The root meaning, the original meaning of the word tradition is betraying the present for the past. If somebody says I'm very traditional, that means that person is living in the past. He has forgotten to live in the present. He's stuck up in the past, not living in the past. He's stuck up in the past. Therefore, all life is a series of relationships. How do I make those relationships meaningful? Right? Or do I make the relationship problematic? My relationship with money, my relationship with health, my relationship with my spouse, my children, my parents, my siblings, my friends, my peers, my subordinates, my superiors, my work, my knowledge, my God, my nature. Right? Man has lost relationship with nature today. That is why we are destroying it. We don't have, right? I asked a young child. I'm not joking. This is not an imaginative joke. This is something that factually actually happened recently. I asked a young child, "Where do you get milk from?" The child responded, "Milkman." I said, "Okay, that milkman delivers your milk, brings it, but where does milk come from?" Bottle. I asked another child, "How does an apple look?" A very young child, very, very young child. "How does an apple look?" "White and in square."
Mm, correct.
Apple is white color and the shape is square. You know how?
So they eat it in like salad form or somewhere like
The mother or the parent
peel it off and
peel it off, cut it into squares and give it. I brought a real apple, full apple to the child. I couldn't convince the child this is an apple. So, as technologically, tremendously, we exponentially we are progressing, we are losing touch with the base. We are losing touch with human feelings. We are losing touch with nature. We are losing touch with natural five elements. Right? Therefore, what is my relationship with nature is something. So if I make my relationship right, meaningful, my life will also be right and meaningful. But today, my relationship with another human being is of divisive. I want to be better than him. I want to succeed him. Or somehow I want to put him down. I want to show I am better. You go to any social media, you go to any WhatsApp group, 2 minutes you talk, 20 hours of arguments that goes on, or 20 days of arguments. So I want to prove my relationship with another human is I want to prove I'm superior to you. In that I divide myself between you and me. But if my relationship is meaningful, if my relationship is of based out of intelligence, not out of past knowledge, not out of tradition, I live life for what it is today, then all life is relationship, right? That is something that we have to understand.
right. So coming on to the last question, that how does being mindful help in like current problems which youth faces like anxiety, worry, depression? How is how does this help in overcoming this?
Sir, what is depression?
Uh, a state in where you don't want to do anything, or maybe not feeling happy about ourselves.
These are effect of depression.
Maybe you don't
Not
like
wanting
doing
to.
anything.
That is the effect of depression,
Okay.
right? What is the root cause of depression?
I believe overthinking.
What does one overthink on?
Like we discussed in starting that we keep on thinking about what happened. Like if I said something to you, you would not think right now, but once you go back and you think about what Vikas said to you, and then keep turning on that thought and again thinking that this is not right and getting emotional, maybe that's what causes that kind
Sir,
of.
if you that is why I'm saying being mindful means being aware, being observant of what is going within you, within your head, as well as outside. Not
Okay,
wanting to stop it, control it, change it, condemn it, identify it, identify with it or judge it or analyze it. Nothing of those sort. Just to be purely aware, observe what is going on. If one observes one's own thinking, one can find out one constantly lives through images. I project my future as an image. This is how I should be or I should not be. I should be a successful man as an image. I should never be a failure. That is another image. I should be a very well recognized, famous personality image. So, first, I create an image of success or failure. Either I want to pursue it or I want to avoid it. Right? Do you follow
correct.
this? Now, I have an image that I should become a successful mindful coach. Vikas should call me, Vikas should send 100 people to me, right? Yuvaap should always only call me as a speaker. I'm the best person, I'm the most knowledgeable person, I'm a terrific person. I build this image for myself, right? And I start working to make that image a reality. When I'm unable to make that image as a reality, I feel sad. I feel hurt. I feel dejected, right? Then, when that dejection, when that sadness, when that hurt goes beyond a point, I'm unable to do anything. I'm caught up there fully, completely. I'm caught up there, right? So now, first I form an image about the future, about myself as an image in the future. I start pursuing it, and the moment I fail, moment I'm not able to fulfill that image which I set out for myself, I get hurt. Out of that hurt, I start getting dejected. Out of that dejection, start getting sad. And that intensity, pinnacle of that sadness, hurtness, of that psychological pain, I am unable to do anything. I don't want to do. I want to isolate myself. I don't feel like eating. I feel like not getting out of the bed. So that is the root cause of depression. Now, why do you need to make an image? Why do you want to project yourself as an image in the future? Image is an image. It has no reality to it. Now, somebody might come and say, who's watching this recording or a video, somebody might come and say, now if I succeed, what happens? You're talking about a person who has not succeeded. If I succeed, what happens? Do you stop there?
Never.
I have an image that I should drive a BMW car or whatever it is. X series BMW car, X1 or X5, whatever it is. I want to drive a BMW car, X series. The moment I succeed buying a BMW, I own a BMW car. Next, what happens?
And you will think about Ferrari.
Ah, new image has come up now. A better image than the past has come up now. So this is
Correct.
never ending. Then, suppose you get a Ferrari also, and you are already, let us say, assume that you're a little old, 70 or 75 or 80. Then you don't stop there. You call your son or grandson and say, or granddaughter and say, I have, from nowhere, I have got a Ferrari. You should get a private jet and a cruise.
Correct.
Not only we have destroyed our own life, we ensure that next generation is also destroyed.
Correct.
Now, as long as a human being, as long as a man or a woman lives life through images, which is the brute majority of the population, depression can never be dissolved, can never be eliminated. This is one. But if I'm aware, if I'm mindful that I'm not living in the reality, I'm not living in the present and now, but I have created an image about myself in the future and I'm trying to chase it, put my energies, everything into it, and forgetting to live in the present and now. That very awareness provides a chance to help me to come out of it. I am not saying don't buy a Ferrari. I am not saying don't buy a BMW. I am not saying don't live a luxurious life. In fact, I am living a very luxurious life, very comfortable life. Materially, I am living a very please come. I'm not showing off. I'm not living in a tormented place. I have good wealth. I'm having reasonably well off life. But whatever images you create, what you do present and now matters.
Correct.
The only point where you can put your effort and work is present and now. What you can do right now matters, nothing else matters. Now, so unfulfilled image, hurt out of it unbearably turns into depression. Constantly thinking whether I will be able to succeed in that image is worry. Constantly I'm thinking whether I'll be able to succeed. What happens if I fail? What happens if I fail? If I am unable to get into that image, what will happens to me? Whether Vikas will respect me, whether my associates will respect me, whether my wife will leave me and go off. Constantly thinking about that image turns into worry.
Correct.
Constantly pushing yourself to get that image is anxiety. So, depression, anxiety, worry, pressure, tension, all these things have one thing in common: postponing, projecting your present and now into the future as an image, and trying to fulfill that image is the root cause of anxiety, depression, and worry. Now, if you are able to understand this, if you are able to see that I am living through images, not in the present and now, whatever image I do, it doesn't really matter. What I do right now matters, not forming an image. What I can do right now, that's all matters. Whether I can do it completely, fully, very clearly, that alone matters. That is understand. So a person, a human being, a man, a woman who is fully in the present and now, right? To that person, it is impossible for depression, anxiety, worry, or even fear to creep. So mindfulness guarantees, in that sense, it's a wrong way to put it, but only material language we understand. Mindfulness guarantees a depression free, anxiety free, worry free, fear free life. At the same time, we are not even remotely saying, remotely suggesting that lead a very simple, ordinary, stupid life. No, live a very grand, stylish life, right? That is very important. At the same time, whether you want to lose your life to it, lose your health to it, lose your mental peace to it, is up to
Correct. So it was a very beautiful message in the end. And thank you so much, Krishna sir, for this lovely session. I learned a lot, and I'm sure viewers will also learn a lot from this session. And we will also put in all the details in description, so that in case you want to get in touch with Krishna sir, you can contact him directly or through Yuvaap. And thank you so much, Krishna sir, for this lovely session, for taking out time today for us. Thank you so much, sir. You want to say anything to our viewers?
it. Nothing. Enjoy your life responsibly. Have fun. Learn about yourself. Thanks Yuvaap and Vikas for the beautiful opening, right? So I don't consider anything as an opportunity. Opportunity means to look at what is it for oneself. Whatever comes in front of me, I see it as a responsibility. And responsibility means don't feel very carried away philosophically, ideologically. Don't think I'm a very good person. No, no. When I mean what I mean by responsibility is how I respond to what is given to me becomes my responsibility. So, in that sense, I hope I responded well. I did my responsibility well to UAP. Thanks, Vikas and the team for beautifully planning it, organizing it, dedicatedly following it up. Especially Anisha, and she has been on my back constantly. So
Perfect.
it's a great beautiful pleasure knowing you all. Good wishes in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Namaste, sir. Thank you so much for good words.
Thank you, Vikash. Thank you, Yuvaap. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.